Cheers, guys. Yeah, it's exciting. There's a lot of numbers. Year 5, week 4, day 1. There you go. At the first tournament.
Yeah.
It's going to be exciting. Rose, New York Excelsior, they aren't going to make the tournament, unfortunately. But the Toronto Defiant can in this game. If they win here, they guarantee themselves that top 8 spots, and they whisk themselves straight to the Kickoff class.
Yeah, unfortunately, New York Excelsior is mathematically eliminated. They are entering into this week with a 1-4 record, and unfortunately, that's not going to be quite good enough to be able to make it forward to the Kickoff clash. But Toronto Defiant is sitting at 3-2, so that's pretty good. Taking a look at their chances to be able to make it forward, so they definitely need to win here today.
Yeah, the 3-2. There are currently 4 other teams at 3-2 right now, but they're currently at the bottom because of map score. So they still have the chance to make it with a dub here today, but ideally just get that 3-0 and then get a little better map score.
Just win.
You look a little better. It's going to be good. I think Toronto Defiant, they had a lot of hype coming into this season, and today is really the day they get to restore a lot of that confidence. They've had a rocky-ish start, and it has been a lot on the back line to really show up and show off. Of course, we have Twilight, a veteran of the Overwatch League and Overwatch in general, and Chorong, a rookie. So it's been them two that's been the backbone of the team, and they performed exceptionally well. New York Excelsior, on the other hand, they also had the expectation coming in that they're not going to be in a position they are now in 1-4, although they have had a tough schedule, I suppose. They played the Shock, the Atlanta Reign, etc. Yep. And their only win is against the Vancouver Titans. But you wouldn't expect them to be down this bad, right? They got one map against one of those tougher teams in against the San Francisco Shock. They did win against the Titans, but you look at the names, you're like, damn, this roster go kind of hard, you know? But it's just not had the success people have wanted from them.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about Yaki and we can talk about Flora all day from the DPS lineup for the New York Excelsior, just constantly putting in the work. But when it comes down to Kellen and Gangnam Jin, we have a lot to be desired, I feel like, from that department, from just Kellen being able to lead the charge and then Gangnam Jin just consistently being able to help support the team overall. So I do think that, like, this is definitely going to be a good litmus test for them, because New York Excelsior, they have shown some really, really nice and bright moments over the last couple of matches, but still some to be desired there for sure.
Yeah, Kellen hasn't really been the strong point for the team as of yet. Maybe he steps up, and Cuss just mentioned, or Danny, sorry, just mentioned, spoke to Gesture, and he's been working really, really hard. If you don't remember, Gesture got picked up as an assistant coach for the team. So his tank knowledge imparted onto Kellen. Only good news for New York Excelsior. How long will that take to actually result in like gameplay? I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and find out. Maybe this is the week they turn it all around. Let's have a look at the Toronto Defiant though. Who are they starting with today? Well, it's my favorite player, Hotba. Woo! And I do have a Hotba fact, by the way. Okay. Rose, I do have a Hotba fact for you. I got one ready.
I'm ready.
Before the broadcast today. Did you know Hotba's name backwards is Abator? Did you know that?
Oh!
There you go. Another one.
No, I didn't. I just
Another one to add
that.
to the repertoire.
Yeah, I like that.
They should add to Wikipedia on a little trivia section. Just to make sure everybody knows. But no, let's be real. Hisu, although Hotba, Chorong, and Twilight, we talked about the backline already, but although another rookie, and Hisu, well, I say another rookie, he did play for London Spitfire a long while ago, although didn't have the best times on London when he did end up playing. But Hisu, a true veteran on this team, and someone that everybody, again, has been looking to perform exceptionally well. And on things like Soldier, which is almost perma-meta right now, he's actually been kind of popping off. Like, Hisu, just on any kind of hit scan hero, turns into a bit of a legend.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be really interesting to see how, like, Yaki, Flora, Hisu, and Aldo really do stack up against each other, because on paper, they're all putting in the work to have those great pop-off performances. And so being able to see them go toe-to-toe is going to be very interesting, but we also have to take a look at Chorong and Twilight and how they're kind of carrying the team right now, Jaws. Twilight on the Ana, Chorong on the Lucio. They're sitting towards the top of their respective hero classes. But, you know, all bets are off, I feel like, when we go into push.
Yeah, it does feel that way. It does feel strange having push as our first game mode. I'm just so drilled into me that it's control first, you know, after all these years. But it's good to see the new maps, of course, and the new game mode. We'll get that beautiful robot going. At Colosseo, I think in general you don't want to run things like Brig. We've seen a ton of teams run Brig on various maps, and I've been kind of harping on about this for a little while, but the Lucio's here is going to be what's important. There's a lot of Winston diving, but there's also a lot of Zarya bubbling, and having your Lucio to escort your Zarya around, making sure she doesn't get caught out at all with her bubbles down, is going to be extra important. Of course, Toronto Defiant having Hopper in does lead them to playing the Zarya. New York Excelsior just perma on the Winston pick. Almost no deviation from them.
Yeah, but I kind of like that from the New York Excelsior. We haven't seen a whole lot of variation in their compositions over the past few series, and I actually think that lends itself really, really well to New York Excelsior getting good at one thing. And so if Kellen can continue to work really hard on the Winston, as we are hearing that that's happening, then I would love to see how that ends up translating over to playing against the Toronto Defiant. But as of right now, Toronto do get a hold of the robot first and start pushing it forward.
Nice little sleep. Just a B-hop from Hopper there to get onto the slightly higher ground. Nice nade into the backline for both teams. Toronto Defiant have to be a little bit more careful. It was just Twilight and Choron who went purple. The robot is moving, and Toronto Defiant have a lot more like AoE control around the robot. To New York Excelsior's comp, they want to go for this big dive with Yaki on the Tracer. As long as Kellen just disrupts this push on the payload, wait for that pulse bomb to get earned, and they should be good. Although, saying that, I mean, Hisu does end up falling first. Yaki finds the kill. No Wraith form, and yeah, Hopper, see you later. And as soon as that Reaper ends up dying, Rose, it's so easy for Kellen and the rest of the gang to just jump on in.
Absolutely. I mean, Reaper and the Zarya for Toronto Defiant are going to be the biggest barrier to overcome for the New York Excelsior, especially when they're trying to go after Chorong or Twilight in the backline. You really want to be able to make sure that you have mobility cooldowns available to get out if you need to escape. But Toronto, they are back into the charge here. New York Excelsior just continuing to push forward as Toronto have to come meet them in the middle.
Nice stick, but nicer bubble from Hopper to save Twilight's life. Nano and sound barrier used. Kellen is dead. The robot is in their control. Hisu got the Nano. Dispatched with Kellen so quickly. Very easy rundown now. That's a lot of ultimates invested. Both Nano and sound barrier. New York Excelsior, they got a whole lot of ults coming up. Only for a pulse bomb. That's actually not a bad trade at all.
I was going to say, like, New York should be really happy with that trade. Getting both support ultimates out of Toronto Defiant means that the door is wide open to be able to use this nano visor and get a bunch of value from it. I mean, those Zarya bubbles are only going to be able to mitigate so much damage.
Nice nade. Hopper uses shield though. Nano visor maybe, there it is. Flora jumps to the ground. Everybody is in his sights now. Hopper falls. No use running. Fade away does Hisu. Although though, is in the backline of the New York Excelsior and kills both Gangnam Jim and Myeonbong. No heals. New York Excelsior have to play slow. Kellen in fact going all the way back to spawn to receive a lick of healing. Robot has been moved a fair amount by Yaki. Good play by him. Means Toronto Defiant are going to have to touch to make it all the way back to New York Excelsior's side now.
I think you're okay with that, though. I mean, Kellen gets to go back, feed over some charge over to Myeonbong, and Myeonbong gets to play back pretty far. And so you're pretty safe if you're the Ana there, and Gangnam Jin, of course, going to get back very, very quickly. So it's kind of fighting in the neutral right now. Toronto Defiant and New York Excelsior not really making too much distance.
Hopper and Hisu playing ring around the rosy, just end up swapping positions. Kellen in trouble. Graviton Surge still available for Hopper. There's the sleep, the bubble though, as soon as he wakes up. Graviton Surge right on the robot. It's not going to start the robot in, nor is it going to help kill Kellen. Hisu ends up going down again. Another incredible stick by Yaki. Twilight dead. One of the leaders in the Overwatch League now on his Tracer, and you can see exactly why. And this was the New York people were hoping for.
Yes, it is. I mean, Yaki just showing up to perform today. Those have been some impressive Tracer sticks, and particularly on Twilight, knowing that Twilight is such a quintessential part of the Toronto Defiant strategy, just knowing how much value Ana can really add to a team. So continuing to go after that pick means that Twilight's a little preoccupied.
That's a lot of damage. That's a lot of HP, though. Yeah, now you have to back off of Ihisu. He's playing so safe, has to, doesn't really want to run. Oh! Okay, although got a little bit aggro there. Flora ends up killing him with the tactical visor. The Beyblade's been used too. Doesn't really get all of anything, even though Hisu was bubbled. The rest of the Excelsior were able to run away. Robot in the controlling hands of the Defiant. New York Excelsior trying to run away and just regroup. They can't let Myeonbong go down early. It's just so much sustain lost. And Gangnam Jin isn't doing a crazy amount of healing either, Rose. He's actually... Chorong is almost doubling his healing rate right now. Gangnam Jin is all about the go button. You can tell by their comp that they want to do that, but Gangnam Jin lacking on the healing front. They're very much relying on Myeonbong. Yaki, 1 HP, gets the recall off just in time. Pulse Bomb in hand. Another nice purple by Myeonbong to stop Krong and Twilight from advancing. Yaki, no backline Pulse Bomb this time around. All those got your number, and he's hung up. New York Excelsior not in control, have to back all the way up.
You gotta wait for Yaki to come back. I mean, Yaki has been the engage for New York Excelsior, just getting a pick or getting a stick with that pulse bomb. So it's been very, very important. But Toronto Defiant, they're working up to some pretty key ultimates here. Hoppa really wants to get this Graviton Surge online, but it's pretty neutral right now. There's really not progress being made here, especially as Kellen is just posturing for position for Yaki to also get back into position to make this dive.
Yeah, it's so treacherous going under this bridge too, Rose. Very frustrating if you're the attacking team. Yaki still playing on the sidelines, looking for a pulse bomb. Hisu hasn't got that Wraith form. Yaki, maybe this is time to go in. Yes, it is. Pulse onto Hisu. Not a support, but it's a DPS down. A lot less damage for the Defiant. I say that as the Nano Visor lets it rip. Nothing happening though just yet. Everybody's skirting around the ice cream truck and they're escaping, although now has to make a 180 and run for it. The Defiant used that beat to push past Kellen's Primal Rage. The Graviton Surge is used. It catches 3, both supports, but Kellen's bubble is so good. Not good enough, though. They burn through it. Nice missiles from Although to finish off Gangnam Jin and help kill Myeonbong. They finally get the robot walking under that bridge and should be able to take the lead now.
Yeah, they're about to match the progress of the New York Excelsior, but New York's not gonna give it up without a fight here. Kellen already comes back.
The spawns are so close. There's the beat, hot below, but extremely high energy. All he needed to do was survive, but Flora was going to make sure that didn't happen. A very smart regroup there from New York. They ended up backing off after they lose 1 or 2, and then decide, well, we can send Kellen in. Because the spawns are so close, we can juggle and make sure they don't overtake us. The Defiant are going to have to go again, but with 40 seconds remaining, this next fight's going to have to be perfect.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great position for the New York Excelsior. They stopped Toronto Defiant from being able to match that map progress. That's huge, because also Toronto don't really have much. They've got the Nano, but that's kind of it. But look at Yaki.
He's looking for Twilight or looking for somebody. What a stick again from Yaki. 4 attaches, 3 kills. Twilight in trouble as Yaki's trying to harass. Hopper playing way more defensive, and look at that. Flora just marching on forward. A good boot from Chorong though sends him back, but not for long enough. Hisu luckily receives the nano boost just in time to end Flora's life, but it is now overtime. The Defiant have control of the payload, but New York Excelsior, the tempo is very much in their favor. They need one more fight here to stop the Defiant, well, push them off the payload, and that'll be the map.
Yeah, this is overtime. New York Excelsior have got to win it here. You can see them getting set up on the bridge as well, which has been the pain point for Toronto Defiant to be able to progress this payload. It's got to come down to this.
onto Hisu. The beat is good. Don't need to worry about the anti. Asleep onto Hisu, gets interrupted as he wakes up. He's trying to teleport to the window, but can't quite click the button in time. A fade comes up in 1 second. He needs to be able to survive this fight, choose that Death Blossom. Yucky ends up going down first, and he chases Flora. Somehow, the range manages to get him from the Death Blossom. Overtime is still here, and Toronto Defiant still in control of the payload, as although used the ult to take down the supports. Toronto Defiant, on the brink of extinction there, managed to get the robot past that golden line and take map number 1.
Yeah, but that was so close, Jaws. Like, I'm so excited about this because New York Excelsior made it difficult for Toronto Defiant to be able to take the win here. Yaki, I mean, just has been absolutely outstanding so far. And I've got to say as well, Gangnam Jin has been pretty good. The Lucio, maybe you don't have to do healing if you're going to help get the kills, right?
Oh man, it has been a funny day already. Maybe we see New York Excelsior run away with this one. That map was close. We'll have to see map number 2 after this break. Well, maybe it's a closer day than people were anticipating. I mean, we already saw London take a map off the Glads. New York almost took a map there off of Defiant. And I'll tell you how close that was. Rose, listen to this. Are you ready? Courtesy of our stats guys. Shout out, Noah. New York lost Coliseum with 22 final blows versus the 14 from the Toronto Defiant. Like,
What?
That is a gap, but they still lost. Like, that is... I don't know how to wrap my head around that.
I don't either, because honestly, I just feel like it was just constantly New York Excelsior in the kill feed. And so now I'm like, okay, well, that wasn't enough. And so what can New York do at this point to really be able to take advantage of the picks that they're getting? And I think that has a lot to do with being able to survive through the ultimates, because Toronto Defiant's getting a ton of ultimate value. And if they can continue to do that, then Toronto Defiant will win this match.
Definitely felt that way. Especially Yaki, those pulse ones are kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do have a couple of substitutions, as you can see on your screen. We got Hisu taking a back seat, Finale's coming in, and my main man Hotba is getting replaced by Muse for this map. But it is Gibraltar, so it does make sense, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
it does.
Muse comes in, play the Winton, and then you've got Finale, got like Genji, so a little
Definitely
more
going dive here.
Yeah, dive for Gibraltar.
Yeah, it's going to be nice to be able to see the dive come through from Toronto Defiant. And I think that New York Excelsior will be able to hold their own. I mean, Kellen has been playing almost exclusively Winston as well. And of course, when you have Yaki and Flora being able to back that up with the Tracer and the Soldier, that's going to be really, really powerful. So we'll see New York Excelsior come out with what we kind of expected to see here, but we will see Gangnam Jin on the Brigitte. And what I find really interesting about that is that this is a much less heal-intensive support, where you're really focused on being able to give away those health packs, but also the utility of being able to get the whip shots and the shield bashes in is very valuable. So you get to focus a lot more on that specifically.
Yeah, I mean, that's a perfect point, right? Because, well, what do Toronto Defiant... Well, who they're running? Well, it's Muse. Okay, so we play Brig, right? Because Winston, like, protecting those high grounds is so important for Flora and even Yaki to a certain extent. No, okay, no. For no one is going to pay attention. No, look, if that happens again, I'm going to eat a hat, okay? There is no way that happens again. And yeah.
Hey, listen, they actually walked out of spawn with it though, okay? It looked like it might have not been a troll, and I was very terrified that Toronto Defiant was going to pull a Florida Mayhem. We would not have wanted that.
Everybody kind of wants it, but no one's going to get it.
Okay, that's fair, that's fair.
Nice little dive. Oh, what an anti! You see that from Twilight?
That was big.
Hit Myeonbong right on the head. Kellen also went pretty low, healed up by Gangnam Jin, but what a perfect start. If you anchor that nade, you saw, if you just saw there, the top right above that blue box hits people behind it, next to it, like powerful nade spot if you're the Ana on the low ground. Something to take into solo queue games there. Good start. Doesn't mean Myeonbong might get the high ground. It's best for him and Gangnam Jin to kind of stay up there.
Yeah, I mean, I do like that the supports for the New York Excelsior can stay on the high ground. Oh, that was nice. Did you see that as well? Gangnam Jin being able to use the shield bash to be able to get up by blue box again. Pretty big. And I like that the Brigitte can stay at range too because of those health packs.
Yaki doing infinite damage as always. Whiffs the pulse bomb. Quite unlike him. They're still going to have to control the payload though. That's the most important thing. Force the recall on Finale, who's playing more safe. There's the Nano. It's on, although he's in the backline. Myeonbong's already dead. Not having the best game right now. He's trying to chase down the Soldier, but armor pack and the healing station is going to keep him alive. But with one support down for New York, it bodes also well for the Defiant. Beautiful Primal Rage from the Monkey God. Gangnam Jin falls, and the payload is Defiance. They unlock those doors, and they're gonna be able to play super far up now, Rose.
Yeah, I mean, look at the space that Muse is taking already. I mean, already by the spaceship? What? On top of the spaceship? I mean, Muse just has
super quick.
The pick of the views right now. Poor Kellen has to go meet him up there.
Nano Visor available. No Nano Blade on the Toronto Defiant side. Twilight's 50% behind currently. Nice healing station. Oh, beautiful knockoff. Can they find that kill? No, Flora ends up backing off. He's got legs so he can run, don't forget. Nyaki's still harassing the backline. Always has Pulse Bomb in his back pocket. He's doing so much damage right now.
Yeah, it's every fight. It's every fight. I mean, unfortunately, that's going to be a whip, though.
A little bit. It's unfortunate. You big him up, and they let you down. So, I mean, maybe that's a life lesson for you. There's the Blade. No Nano. Flora's already dead. A good anti-nade from New York Excelsior, but the Toronto Defiant aren't going down without a fight. Muse takes a little nap, but the rest of his team are all right. They had that rally at their back, so they're able to get back into the fight pretty fast. New York Excelsior playing all the way in the scenery right now as the Toronto Defiant are just pushing the payload in basically for free. 5 meters away. Another nice nade from Twilight. Flora has to back off. Another lot of damage missing from their squad, but Yaki and Kellen, they're able to get offline rather quickly. Well, that's a Nano Brig, and you're dead. Goodbye, Chorong. Bit of an overzealous Nano from Twilight. Maybe they thought they could end the fight there and then, but wasn't to be.
Did you see Muse just walk away with 5 HP?
That's Muse things for you.
I don't understand how New York Excelsior couldn't confirm that. I mean, Gangnam Jin was able to hit him with a whip shot, but then Muse walked out of there with his life, coming back with a Primal Rage as well. Ooh, ouch.
There's a bit of revenge. Not bad. Oh, he's dead. Just go again, go again, go again, go again. Everybody's screaming it in comms, yeah. You lose someone that early, Rose, you don't want to fight.
No, for sure. I mean, at least Finale can get back pretty quickly on the Tracer, so that's not going to be that bad. But does allow New York Excelsior to get time to set up here.
Oh. Ooh, nice pulse bomb. Didn't attach it to Kellen either. Placed it by his sleeping body, which turned into a corpse. Yaki forced to recall. Has a pulse bomb in his back pocket. Hasn't been so lucky this map, but a nice stick gone to Muse as he sleeps. We'll give you that one, Yaki. No worries. Still counts the stats. Both teams lose their Winston players, but Kellen's back way quicker. Maybe Toronto Defiant gain some space around this mega health pack, but it looks unlikely as they're backing off now. Oh, I say that. Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, spoke a little too soon there, Jaws.
Yeah. Whoops.
Just a little bit.
But they do have Nano Visor coming up, Rose, for New York, and a Nano Blade for Toronto Defiant. It's up to the Nano Ultimate, see how they do. Another nice nade on Flora. Can't use the healing station now, but that bubble from Kellen is going to protect him. There's the Nanos. It's on, although he's already got 2 kills. No Blade needed for the Genji. Gunnajin and Myunbong are dead, but so is Twilight Chorong. No healing for either team, and although he's just getting beaten up by Kellen, that Primal Rage doing work. Muse in his own bubble. The only thing he can do is just reset the payload, make sure it doesn't trawl back even further. 60 seconds remains now for the Defiant to push it to second.
That's good though. New York Excelsior has been able to eat so much time off the clock. Gangnam Jin is going to be able to have the rally online, and that's going to give so much sustain. Yaki's going to have another pulse bomb, maybe even before Toronto Defiant walk in.
Oh, no way! Okay, Kellen caught that one mid-air, tried to slam dunk it, but it didn't end up working out. They've lost Kellen first up yet again. Nice positioning from Finale, pushing the payload to force NYXL down to the low ground. Rally from Gangnam Jin to keep the team alive. Another stick from Yaki is going to be good as Chorong falls. A nice nade onto Twilight ends his life. It's up to the Blade. That's the only thing left. Myunbong ends up going down, but with no Nano, the Blade is as good as a wet noodle. The Toronto Defiant have 9 seconds to go before the time ticks to 0. They need to be able to touch, but it's looking rather unlikely. Excelsior, they find Finale, he gets the touch. OT is here, but with no Primal Rage from Muse, this should be quick. There we go. Chorong also just kind of dancing around. There's no way he wins a 1v5. Ramrong completes, and the Toronto Defiant, quite an easy first push there, Rose, but second point, inassailable. But I think that's Gibraltar almost. Well, sometimes you can kind of ignore it, but
it's weird we saw a second point. I feel like we don't see second point very often, so it's a little funny. It's a little funny that we ended up there. But Toronto Defiant did have a pretty easy walk-in of point A, swiftly into point B, but I think we've got to give a lot of credit to the New York Excelsior. After Toronto Defiant took so much space on their attack push, you saw Muse just be able to jump up to the spaceship, sat there for a really long time, and then New York Excelsior was like, you know what? No, get off our objective. Go away. This is our hangar.
Yeah, and that's one of the big things about Gibraltar, right? The second point. You lose that fight on the attack, and you don't gain that high... Well, I guess New York did end up getting the high ground first, but if you lose that preceding fight, the defensive team has such a crazy advantage. They can drop on you most of the time. The supports are rather safe. They can play in the mega health pack. They can play in the mini and the spaceship, or they can play all the way at the back near the door close to their spawn. It's a pretty hard point to crack. And do you know what's really funny? What was funny to me, at least, Kellen was dying first a lot of these fights, especially towards the end, but Toronto Defiant just couldn't capitalize on it.
No, I mean, Kellen also, like, you talk about the advantage. I think a lot of the advantage comes from how close the respawns are for the defensive team. So Kellen was able to come back to the fight while Yaki was keeping the backline busy, so Toronto Defiant couldn't push forward. They didn't have the supports behind them. But we've got a pause coming through. So we'll have to wait and see how this goes.
Yeah. They were like, wait, Excelsior, you didn't try and hog hook somebody. You okay? You good?
You good, bro?
No hog? Well, all right. I guess we'll just sit here for a little while. Hopefully the pause gets resumed fairly quickly. But yeah, let's talk about their offense here, right? I mean, at the end of the day, hitting one big nade is great, but escorting the... So I love escorting the supports, or even sim teleporting them on the offensive side across the way and setting them up on the high ground.
Yep.
If you have that high ground as a support, it is like insane. We'll see if they do end up rotating that way. Wait, no. Pausing still. No, wait. Ping, boom. Okay, well, there you go. Well, that's fine.
Well, there you go.
That answered that question for you. Man, I need to come up with more... Well, maybe I should come up... Maybe I should just be a Toronto Defiant tank specialist and just come up with various quips about Hopper and Muse.
I like it. I like it. I'm ready for the next Jaws Toronto Defiant tank fact.
Yeah, I got plenty of Hopper facts in my back pocket. Don't worry. Most of them silly, and but it's fine.
I remember.
What I find really interesting, Rose, about just... This isn't really anything to do with the game, but like just different players' handles and whatnot, where they come from. I think it would be really cool if we at some point sit down. Maybe we can put this in the works, but kind of talk to each player and see where they got their names from. I think that would be quite an interesting segment. So where did you get Necra from?
I studied science, and so one of the first studies that I ended up looking at was the wolves of Yellowstone National Park. I thought it was just really cool because I like animal dynamics, and so I looked for how to say wolf in different languages. And then basically dropped some letters, changed some things, and I got Necra. So.
Well, that's kind of cool because it is quite a unique name.
Well, thank you.
I've never heard anybody called that. Unlike mine, which is very generic.
But how did you get it?
Extremely generic. Well, it's actually my initials. Jaws stands for Jack Achilleos Wright, if you didn't know, and then I added the S on the end.
Ooh.
So yeah, that's mine. Pretty generic, I know.
I like
but
that. Because I was going to ask.
I also like sharks.
Well, I was going to say, did the fish come first, or did the name come first?
I guess the love of fish came first.
Okay.
As a kid, I wanted to be a paleontologist, as I'm sure like a lot of kids these days do. You're like, oh, dinosaurs are pretty cool, right? Oh, maybe I dig for dinosaur bones. That'd be pretty sweet. Like that was one of my first, like, oh my god, I want to do that. But then it very quickly transitioned. Thanks to my grandparents who had fish, and they still have a pond in their back garden. I was like, well, now I'm obsessed with fish, and got my first fish tank at whatever age. I have fish tanks now, which is pretty cool. And yeah, and I was just like, well, actually, maybe I'll be a marine biologist. And then it just so happened my initials were just that.
Love it.
So
I love it.
Pretty cool.
It's so perfect for
sweet.
you. So I'm glad that all worked out. Sounds like we're getting back into the game.
Woo!
So let's
No more dribble. All good.
What? That was like that was interesting caster lore. What do you mean?
Caster lore. That's true. That's true. There's probably a document somewhere It has all the caster lore in it. All right, back into the game. Anyways. Everything sorted. Everything fixed. We're good. Kellen, not quite so fixed. He is asleep. Unfortunate, but... Again, Yaki playing the payload. This is ideally what you want to do if you're on the offense. Just play payload, right?
Yeah. I feel like you just got to try to push it through the car wash. Once you can get through the car wash, I feel like it does become a little bit easier for the attacking team to be able to execute on the dives. Yaki gets really low, though, in the back.
Oh, good sleep onto Muse. Those supports from New York Excelsior are taking an absolute beating. Same with Muse, to be fair. He has to back all the way up, and now Excelsior have the high ground.
Yeah, I just kind of waiting for their moment to jump. It looks like Kellen has found a small opportunity, but it's really just to push Toronto Defiant off the high ground.
Yeah, Finale has built himself up a pulse one first, a little bit before Yaki. He's looking for a way to get into this engagement. Kellen's got the Primal Rage, not a good target. There it is. Gangnam Jin, though, with a flare kill on to Twilight. Excelsior looking good in this fight, although is dead. Toronto Defiant can go for a recontest if they're quick enough and if they can stall. Nano, Rally, and Primal coming up.
A lot of ultimates coming online for both teams. And so I feel like with Muse being able to get the Primal Rage online, maybe we'll be able to boop some of the members of New York off.
Big pulse. There's the Nano Primal Rage. All those hands are going to hurt if they land. Or maybe not so much, as the rally from Gangnam Jin's going to keep everybody healthy. So those hands not looking so deadly anymore. The Toronto Defiant struggling to maintain control of this payload as Gangnam Jin ends Muse's life. There it is. Point captured by Excelsior. 4 minutes to go. And they win this small engagement here, killing the Staggers. It's exactly the same situation Defiant found themselves in, winning that fight and setting up on the high ground.
Yeah, look how much time they have. Jaws, they have right about 4 minutes. And so that's a lot to be able to push that payload just shy of that point B. And New York just kind of waiting for some of these bigger DPS ultimates to come online. Yaki wants that Pulse Bomb. Flora definitely wants Attack Visor.
Looking good. That overhealth still applies, even if you are purple. Worth keeping in mind. So Myunbong's nade looked good, but wasn't fantastic. Another good nade, though, I say that. And that nano boost from Kellen. He's just electrifying everybody, but can't really seem to find anything at all. Oh, and although he's dead, by the way, there's his dead body. Toronto Defiant struggling still to maintain control of this payload. Kellen slept on it. Someone needs to touch. That almost helped the Excelsior there, sleeping the monkey on it because 2 people were pushing. Myunbong is dead, and the Toronto Defiant could come back into this fight, but now both honors bite the dust. 2 breaks 2. Again, a no-healer fight for either team. It's all down to the trades. There's a Primal Rage on the point, and they can't even touch. Although it was just in the background as the rest of his team were laid to waste.
Oh my God.
The New York Excelsior find the map win and tie the series up 1 each.
Wow. I mean, we've got a... that's great for Excelsior to be able to tie it up, but poor Aldo got slept in Blade by a huge sleep coming out from the New York Excelsior, and then also just got so low that he had to go try to find a health pack. And on that time, New York Excelsior are able to push the payload forward. That's pretty big. I mean, New York did that with a lot of time left, too.
Yeah, they did. It's just losing control. It never really felt like they had control of that payload. We'll see if Muse ends up getting subbed out as we jump into our next map in a moment. But we'll take a small break before we do that. From the shadows in the top rope, it's Luchador Reaper. Yep, you can get the Kickoff Clash legendary skin, which is on sale now through the 25th of June for 200 league tokens. There's also, if anybody saw the blog post from the other day, there's going to be some team variations of the skins. Rose, that's going to be pretty cool. I'm excited. From what I saw from the variations, the belt buckle, I guess the championship winning belt or whatever, has the logo of the team from the little sketch that they gave, which is pretty sweet. So I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, go make sure you pick that one up. It's only 200 league tokens. You get tokens for watching anyway. So there you go. All right, back to the game. Midtown is the map up next. And Rose, Toronto need to win here. If they win, they're in the Kickoff Clash.
Yep. Yeah, and it looks like they're going to go ahead and sub back in Hisu and Hotba in for Finale and Muse, which makes a lot of sense because Zarya comp is definitely going to be good on Midtown. So maybe trying their hand at that, especially because they were able to win with that composition versus the New York Excelsior on Coliseum, which was our first map of the series. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, Jaws.
Yeah, ain't that true? I mean, you can play a bit of both on this map. You can play a little bit of dive, or you can play what they played on Coliseum, which was the Zarya. And yeah, I think you're right. If it's not broke, don't fix it. And Hopper and Hisu doing pretty well. Yaki's Tracer, though, still, it feels like it's attempting to hard carry, right? I mean, we talked a little bit earlier on in Coliseum, the map that they narrowly lost. Yaki had 10 final blows out of the 22 on the Tracer. His pulse bombs were looking squeaky clean.
They were looking good. Good in the neighborhood. Hopefully they're going to do that here in New York. That would be nice.
Yeah.
Going to their hometown.
Hometown advantage.
Yeah.
No way. They get a 10% damage buff. That would be insane, by the way. Imagine that. You play on your home map, you get a damage buff. The most uncompetitive thing ever, but would be very fun.
Oh, it'd be like a nice April Fool's. We're way past that, so it's not going to happen this season. But maybe next one. That's a free idea, Overwatch League.
That is. Free idea, free dumb idea. Please don't do it. That would be insane. But I thought it was worth mentioning, Rose, Toronto Defiant, the last time they did well in the tournament structure format of the Overwatch League was in 2020 when they went to the Summer Showdown and placed 3rd. So they want to be able to not only get to the Kickoff Clash, but to just exceed expectations and make it to the top 3, or even potentially winning it, of course.
Yeah, I think they're in a really good position to do so as long as Toronto Defiant can keep it up. Nice aggressive pressure coming out here on their attack push.
Yeah, extremely aggro. Wow, Hopper goes down so quickly. Same with Orlo. His fight's already over. I would love to know what happened to Hopper. He was holding the high ground with the supports, used both bubbles, and then just, wow, he liquefied. And there you go. Maybe there is a buff, I don't know. Excelsior end up taking the point, and they're going to make the payload go through those doors.
Toronto Defiant got too aggressive. You know, they jumped in too far, they overextended, and then New York Excelsior just punished that. So luckily for Toronto Defiant, they are able to get set up here on this high ground. It does make it very difficult for the attacking team to be able to get past the car wash. So maybe Toronto Defiant can dig their heels in right here.
Yaki's already looking for something. Oh, you see Although in the bottom left. Oh, he knows. He knows. He has Yaki's number. We saw it last time. Yaki just consistently getting these pulse bombs in the back, and Although had to check him. Nice little high ground control. Really enjoy when the defenders hold that spot where we see Hisu in right now on the Reaper.
Yep.
Hopper's under a lot of pressure once more. No bubbles anymore, but high energy. Hisu is cleared out. A bit more difficult to hold up in that position, Rose, when you don't have a Winston to quickly jump all the way back to the team. You can't do that with the Zarya. And now Yaki looking for a pulse, but might not even need to use it. They're just backing off.
Toronto have to. They can't go in without Hisu. Hisu is such an important part of Toronto's front line. But oh no!
Ooh, actually outplayed. Dunked on Yaki. Although just hit him with the fancy feet, dodged the pulse and gave him a smackdown. Toronto Defiant now, don't have to worry about that pulse bomb, nor the visor, nor the nano. Good nade from Twilight. so much negated from Excelsior. 3 ultimates down the drain.
They still have a lot of time, 4 minutes left in the time bank, but it really does come down to the sound barrier being able to deal with the Graviton Surge and potentially a Death Blossom on top of that.
Oh,
it's
my
late.
God, that's just BM. He got Yaki. Kellen was in the Graviton Surge as well, I suppose. Gets slept in Primal, is pretty close to waking up and pretty low. Oh, Hopper couldn't quite lob the right click far enough. Still, a Graviton Surge is good enough. They used to be in that engagement on top of that. Hisu and Although still have an ultimate each, though.
This is the problem that New York Excelsior ran into on Colosseo. They were able to get 22 final blows, very much outmatching that of the Toronto Defiant, but New York is struggling to get value with their ults. That beat was late.
Hisu just wants to bait them in. He's got the Death Blossom ready to go. Hopper permanently 100 energy. Not something you see every day in Overwatch 2 Zarya. Depends how defensive you are as a Zarya player. Can push out, has got an extra bubble. There it is, straight on top of Hisu. Nano Death Blossom. You can't even react to that if you're that close. Myunbong couldn't even sleep because of that bubble. And the Toronto Defiant, they're holding strong.
This is...
Gangnam Jin is... he's dead. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is so tough. This is so tough as the attacking team to be able to get past if the defense is able to stop you on this high ground. Because where do you go? Every direction that you try to walk onto that point, you can either get dropped on top of if you're going down mid, or you go into these buildings and then you're walking into a Zarya and a Reaper. That's not fun. So New York are going to have to get really creative and find an opening here with this Nano Tac Visor.
Nanovisor, it's available. There it is. He activates it straight in the face of the Toronto Defiant. Their supports are going low. Twilight goes down. Now he's 1v1ing a Reaper on the high ground. Flora's in trouble, sitting in the healing station. He gets Hisu at least. Hopper's alive. A lot of energy, but not a lot of life left. 2 minutes to go. Excelsior, a couple of meters away from landing that payload in. Can the Defiant touch? Maybe. They have speed boost from Chorong, and they do get there just in time, a meter away. Nice nade onto the back line from Twilight to keep their team alive and healthy. A 2-man beat to secure the payload, but can they secure this fight? It's yet to be seen. 0.9 meters away, the grab comes out. It doesn't really hit much as the beat was good from Gangnam Jin. The later one is always the better one. 2-man Primal Rage, and that will be it. Excelsior, they get it onto second. 2.5 minutes, though, for third. Rose. Tough point to assail.
Yeah, it's not looking likely that a full 3-point capture is going to happen here for the New York Excelsior. They don't have any ultimates in the bank. They'd have to take some amounts of an eco push or just win the all-right brawl, which could happen because Twilight is the only person on Toronto Defiant that's close to getting that ultimate online. In fact, there it goes. The nano boost now available to donate over to somebody.
Nice bubble from Hopper. Although almost got 1 clip. Kellen's asleep. He is fine. Jumping back to the point. Hisu teleported to the point and had to walk away. There's the Nano on the Reaper. Nice little 2-tap. Thank you very much. 3K? No. Legs too quick. All the way back to spot. What are you? What was that?
That was greedy. Oh, that was so greedy.
I mean, misclick TPing into Excelsior's spawn? Misclick or hyper BM? Not sure what it was, but we witnessed that. That was a thing. That happened.
Yeah, you know what? At least Hisu gets back on his feet, has the Death Blossom, can go in with that raw. There is no nano to be able to beef that up. But they might not need it. 1.5 minutes left on the clock.
There he is. He's spinning, trying to win, but no. Gangnam Jin's the winner in this situation. Nano Visor running straight at him. Pulse bomb's good. Everybody carrying in a small room. Ain't gonna happen. Flora struggling to find the kills. He got 1 and a lot of damage, and there's the cleanup from Yaki. What you want to see from the Tracer. Well, those on the high ground, just chilling, but they're going to be able to move the payload below him, and a nice boot from Gangnam Jin as the second one in a row he's had. Booped Hisu away when he was ulting and booping, although off the high ground. But like you said, Rose, very tough time they're having sinking that payload in. 50 seconds to go.
There's no more ults left for the New York Excelsior. Kellen the only one that's getting close to that Primal Rage, but they're going to have to be able to withstand and outlast the Tactical Visor and, of course, chew through the sustain coming in from Chorong's Sound Barrier. It's a lot to ask for with 30 seconds left.
Oh my god, Hisu did the cha-cha slide out of that sleep. See you later. A lot of ults online now. Nano Visor available for the Toronto Defiant. They've got to grab, they've got to beat, they've got everything they need to win this fight. If they mess this up now, could be a bigger mistake than Boss Baby 2. Excelsior are running for the hills. Flora goes down. A beat from Excelsior to try and help Myungbong, but it's not going to happen. Defiant, they got the names and numbers of the Excelsior. The Nano on Hopper. He's only 50 energy, but that's a lot of damage. Good pulse bomb from Yaki, but they still need to touch. It ain't going to happen. There you go, Defiant, they hold the payload just on those steps before third.
That's still a good attack push coming in from the New York Excelsior. Toronto Defiant, though, really gave New York a run for their money. Almost didn't let New York Excelsior cap that second point. So the fact they made it this far is pretty good. But Toronto Defiant now up to bat, definitely a winnable position for them. They've been able to do a lot with their attack pushes, but especially when it comes down to having those Zarya, the bubbles, Hoppa's just going to need to be large and in charge and charged. I don't know where I was going with that.
No, I mean, that was perfect because no, it was perfect because he's got 31% of the team's damage right now. He's got gold damage, Rose.
Sheesh.
So, yeah, 7,400 versus about 6K for Hisu. So Hopper is doing a lot of the lifting for the Toronto Defiant in the current moment. And if we skip back to Colosseo, I talked about how Gangnam Jin was like super low on healing versus Chorong.
Yeah.
That's still the case. It's still almost Chorong doubling the healing per 10 than Gangnam Jin is. Again, another comp that wants to go really fast, so it makes sense. Gangnam Jin always holding the W key with the speed boost. But still, the sustain coming out from the Defiant is kind of crazy. Just keeping Hopper alive and at high energy is why he's doing so much damage.
For sure. I mean, if you're able to stay alive, then you get to keep your charge, and that's kind of the biggest obstacle to overcome as a Zarya player, especially in Overwatch 2, is the fights get really fast, and sometimes you just die really fast. But let's see if Hotba can continue to live up to this gold damage that he was able to put out on that round 1. That's impressive.
It's pretty impressive. Trying to make their way around the fire truck. Kellen doesn't really want to mess with this at all. I mean, Hisu's just kind of standing there, teleporting behind them. Yeah, okay, well, everybody knows you're there. Let's be real. Pressure on the point, though. That's the key for the Defiant right now. Make sure Excelsior have to go for this touch. Nice nade by Twilight, keeping everybody alive on the point. Increased healing, especially with Chorong on top of them too. No one's going to go down if you amp that nade. 2 ticks have been acquired. Yaki, dead. Nano for Hisu. Now Kellen definitely can't touch the point, as the point is unlocked. Nice and quick. Toronto Defiant, 5 minutes in the bank.
Yeah, they do let the payload go. I mean, I guess you can at this point. It'll kind of start walking itself for a little while, but you do have to go back and help it. So, although gonna do that. Where is Hisu? Who is Hisu waiting for? Hello?
He's doing a bit of peeking, is what he's doing. He's sitting down, just chilling.
Yeah, but waiting for who though? Because that's behind. That's in a corner.
Yaki, I guess.
Probably Yaki.
They're like, we know Yaki's going to flank, okay? We know he's going to just sit on the corner and just wait for him. He hasn't got pulse though, so maybe won't go for a flank just yet. Visor available, Nano available. Excelsior might be able to just hold this one down, but the Toronto Defiant taking a different approach, just going through the right-hand side all the way up to high ground. You give the Visor no space, and Flora can't really do much. If he runs that small room, he's going to get annihilated. It doesn't matter if he's got that Nano. I say that, they're going to go for it anyway. Nice jump in from Kellen, blocking all that healer, blocking the beat too. Hopper didn't get any of that beat from Chorong, so he instantly died to that Nano Visor. That's what you want to see from Kellen. We spoke about him a little bit earlier on, Rose, saying how he was a little bit of a weak link for the team, but that's the plays that you want to see. Blocking off that beat, just instantly winning the fight for your team.
Kellen's been showing up today. Whether it was blocking the beat or being able to put down a Winston bubble to save the team from the Graviton Surge over in Colosseo, Kellen has looked mighty good this series. And so maybe it's the coaching from Gesture, it's all the hard work that Kellen is putting in as a player, but clearly very hungry to improve and to help bring the success that the New York Excelsior wants to see this season.
Beautiful nade, responded with a primal rage. The visor's being used, there's the pulse, goes wide. Fancy feet from Twilight this time, and a nano tactical visor from the Toronto Defiant, going to end that fight very quickly. Yaki was waiting for so long, Rose, to try and get that pulse bomb onto Twilight. The rest of his team were already backpedaling to get away from Although. That just led to their demise. 3 minutes to go. They haven't got too far to push this payload. As soon as it gets this this little bit of high ground here, the Toronto Defiant can sit all the way at the back, sitting pretty.
Yeah, look at Kellen just really not being able to touch the Toronto Defiant right now. Single grab.
Yeah. Alrighty, is he gonna die? Of course he is. Nice nade. There we go. Now it's a 4v5. Excelsior in a little bit of trouble. Kellen going pretty low. Hopper extremely high energy as always. Still leading the team in damage, about to tick over to that 10k mark. This is the time back that you wanted to see. Defiant 4 minutes going into this final section. Excelsior, this is their time to come alive.
That's going to be tough. I mean, you do have the nano tactical visor that will buy some time for you, especially when that sound barrier is not online yet for Chorong. So not really a great way to be able to mitigate that damage coming in, unless you're going to try to use the Zarya bubbles. But again, that doesn't mitigate everything. So you got to either attack first at the Toronto Defiant or just take the L on this one, take the eco push.
Trying to, like you said, just force ultimates out. Forcing the pulse bomb out of Yaki would be good. He's been rather successful with the pulse bombs. Not necessarily this map, but previously. There's the nano on the Reaper. The beat's going to help as well. Yes, I like that. That's really good. I like that from Excelsior there. Just running away from... I mean, you kind of have to, right? Run away from the nano Death Blossom and the visor, but that's a painful one. I don't think anybody died in that fight, and no. Excelsior end up going down. Toronto Defiant just push them, just intimidate them off the payload and claim the map. They're 2-1 in the series now, Rose. Looking for that win that will send them to the kickoff clash.
I mean, hey, Toronto earned that one. Just get the ultimates online and then go in. That also works. So whatever floats your boat, it's working out for them so far.
It is. Intimidation, that was the key. There you go. Map number 4 coming up next. This is the game that Defiant need to win to secure themselves a place in the kickoff clash. It's Ilios. We'll see you up in a bit. Toronto Defiant, one map win away from securing themselves a ticket to the Kickoff Clash. Rose, it's been an interesting day, I think. Just in general, London Spitfire taking a game off the Gladiators, and now New York Excelsior looking better too. I think a lot of the teams that people lost a little bit of hope in coming into this week have performed pretty damn well. Like New York Excelsior, we were talking in the break that Kellen, not bad whatsoever. A couple of first deaths on Gibraltar, but in general, on the last map, not looking too shabby. So Ilios could be their map too.
Absolutely. I think that the biggest takeaway from today is that the teams right now that are towards the bottom of the pack are definitely not down for the count. Some of these teams have taken a little bit longer to get warmed up, but you love to see it. London Spitfire did bring that game very, very close. That was so exciting. And I feel the same amount of excitement watching the New York Excelsior really give it to the Toronto Defiant right now. It's not close. Or it's not a stomp. It's very, very close.
Yeah. Exactly that. Like Coliseum couldn't paint a better picture of that. It was a couple of meters. Of meters. But the disparities and something I picked up for a couple of maps now in the support line. And I mentioned at the top of the game that, battle of the backlines very much here. Chorong and Twilight versus Myeonbong Gangnam-jin. Gangnam-jin, he's slotted into that role of the Lucio pretty well, but his healing output compared to Chorong right now, not so great. Like Chorong is destroying him in the healing front. Their comp does want to go faster, but still, I'd be expecting a little bit more healing from Gangnam-jin just to sustain Kellen through all this damage and, from Hopper a lot of the time.
I think that's the biggest key, is that the sustain that Toronto Defiant has from their backline is just providing so much value overall to the team that Hotba also is pretty invincible, which feels fun as a Zarya player, I'm sure, where you get a chance to keep the charge that you're able to earn through the bubbles for yourself, onto your teammates. So that's definitely a good shout for the team overall. But New York Excelsior, I do want to see Gangnam-jin pick it up just a little bit. Maybe it's just the play style of the Lucio, right? Going faster with the Winston just to be able to get those dives in place. That's certainly a strategy that we can't ignore.
Yeah, definitely not. Go super aggro, only speed, hold W, like dive at their backline feels pretty good, but feels like a lot of the time Chorong and Twilight very capable of handling anything that's thrown at them. All right. Let's go to Ilios. Starting off Lighthouse first, it looks like. And Toronto Defiant are keeping both Hisu and Hotbar in. So more Zarya. That's what we're going to see.
That makes sense. You and I were even talking. You can see Zarya on basically every single stage of Ilios. Especially on Ruins, I feel like that is just great to be able to just kind of full-on W key onto the point. But same with Lighthouse, too. If you're able to get control of the point, it's very difficult to be able to deal with the Zarya that has been able to stick there and just kind of be in your face. So I would love to see how the New York Excelsior decide to adapt or even adjust to seeing a strategy like that when they expect that from the Toronto Defiant.
Yeah, adaptation on the fly is key. Excelsior, they're going to run Tracer. I don't think they run something wacky. No. Nothing wacky. No TP out, though. Okay. Especially, I mean, Toronto Defiant ideally want to TP out because they have Zarya, but they're a little bit slower as Kellen has leap.
I think you're okay with that. I mean, let New York Excelsior get there first and then clean up.
Hello? Team? Help? Team, help! Okay. Oh, team. All right, they're dead. Excelsior are dead, and Defiant have the point. What is Gangnam-jin typing?
I don't know.
Well,
unlucky.
Alrighty. Well, that happened. That was a thing.
I mean,
and
hey,
Yaki is in their spawn.
That's what you are expecting, right? Toronto Defiant just allow New York Excelsior to walk in, and they're like, yeah, well, we're just gonna take the point away from you, and then what can Kellen do?
I'm going to take your Kellen away from you in a minute. Jeez. Yaki is in the background. It's all good. Yeah, you can see through that little grated fence there. He's not that sly. Does have the Wraith form. Can he get the 2-tap? He gets a 3-tap. Myunbong unfortunately goes down again. What a terrible day to be a flex support with Hisu in the backline constantly. Nice TP up to high ground, and the Excelsior, they're going to have to go again. Quick resets, jump off the map, do whatever you need to do, because it is almost 50% already.
Kellen is just going to start trying to peek, get some damage in, try to work up to that Primal Rage, because at this point, New York's Excelsior just needs to get ults online. Yaki, Flora, very, very close, but Myunbong doesn't have the nano up just yet. Twilight's gonna beat him there.
Yaki pressuring point. The pulse bomb is what he desires. A stick, maybe onto Twilight. Kellen's already in. Bubble's a bit used. This is his chance. He's got to go for it. He lobs it, gets damage, but not a kill. Flora goes down in the meantime, and Excelsior on the back foot once more. Yaki losing 5 HP, decides, yep, time to go again, especially with Gano Jin going down. Last fight now, Rose. Excelsior, they got ults, they got Nanovisor and Primal.
Yeah, but Toronto Defiant,
with yeah.
They can contend with that. They absolutely can. Look at Trong with the sound barrier.
Oh God. What a horrific day to be Flora and Myunbong just spawn camped by Hisu. Overtime is here. They didn't get a touch as Callum with the Primal Rage is going to be able to hop in and out of the point. A missed Graviton Surge. I'm sure that was trying to get Yaki. A nice nano boost will end Twilight's life, but a beat for the Defiant will see them through this next fight. Excelsior still struggling to get onto the point, but Flora with a visor makes sure the Defiant play a little bit more safe. Maybe they just decide to go again. They do just that. Okay, 99% with Excelsior in control.
Flora has not been able to play this game at all. I mean, Yaki is getting a second pulse bomb. Flora just used the tactical visor. Flora has been picked off so many times by Hisu. That's unlucky, but New York Excelsior, they got to play this flawlessly. Hopefully Gangnam Jin sound barrier will be enough to be able to get through this.
Oh, Yaki was almost handed that kill. Twilight missed the pulse bomb. Nice little bubbles, another nice nade, and a sleep. Oh, almost booped him off the edge. Oh, that would have been a highlight play and a half if that happened, but they still get the kill. Hisu TPs to the back line. Overtime once again here. He sits in the enemy healing station. It doesn't heal you, but you don't need it. The Defiant with a dominant victory on Lighthouse. This is what they wanted to roll out the gate with. They are truly warmed up now. They're ready to go to Kickoff Clash.
This is something that I was nervous about from the Toronto Defiant. Looking at their last few series, they have not looked the cleanest when it's come to their place. Maybe that's also a partial reason why New York Excelsior has been able to take these maps so close. But finally feels like they've greased the wheels a little bit, Jaws. It's looking much cleaner from them. So 1 round away from being able to just secure their spot to the Kickoff Clash.
Yeah, I'm sure nerves are heightened in the Toronto camp, that is for sure. Same kind of comps though, this is what you want to see. Defiant in this series, 100% win rate when they have Hotbird and Hisu in. Only on Gibraltar did they end up losing that map when Muse came in. Unfortunate, but it'd be like that.
Get posturing for position nice a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to say, a nice little rotation through Cage as the point does unlock. They're taking a beating coming into this section though. Nice little nade from the high ground from Myunbong. Twilight and Hisu in danger, but they do manage to scurry away. Don't want to give the payload or the point up just like that, so they end up swapping sides with the Excelsior. Now Kellen's in a little bit of trouble. Hot, but more so as he's used both bubbles, and a nice anti-nade will finish him off. Chorong has to also play safe as he glows bright purple, and the Excelsior, they manage to find the point cap. Now Defiant have to either win this fight or quickly die and go again.
Okay.
Yeesh.
Ouch.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a headshot melee. That is a lot.
Woo. I mean, yeah, Hisu's been able to hit a lot of those combos into some of the backliners of the New York Excelsior. Oh!
Nice boot.
Okay, that's pretty good. Gangnam Ninja should be proud of that.
Another one? No, not quite. Should be very proud. All Gangnam Ninja is doing is looking for boots right now. Don't blame him. Don't blame him.
Why
Got to look
not?
at the highlight play at some point.
It worked out. It was able to reset Toronto Defiant at least once. Chorong's going to come back as well, so that's more time that they are eating off the clock for Toronto Defiant to come back in and contest this. But they are walking in with a Nano Tactical Visor combination. So if Aldo can get into a big position here, that could be big.
Nano boost from Twilight. There's the visor from although. Oh, he gets the nano just in time before going down. Ganachin tried for the boot, but didn't end up working out. Oh, and he's now spotted Myunbong. See that sleep dart? Went a little bit wide. Doesn't have to worry about that flanking Ana now. Twilight with a good nade onto Flora. No healing station for you. Is the Toronto Defiant look a little bit more in control of this map? 75% from Excelsior though. Wouldn't scoff at that at all. There's the flip coming in. It's coming in now. Yep, the flip. There it is. Yaki. There you go. Okay, the flip. 86%.
New York were able to stall that out pretty well, too. They didn't have to use too much to be able to try to hold on for that 86%. Primal Rage and Pulse Bomb had to be used in that fight, but they are coming back with a Nano Tactical Visor of their own, as well as Gangnam Jin's Sound Barrier. But there's a lot they're going to have to try to sustain through, and that Sound Barrier might not be enough, as Toronto Defiant are looking to pack a punch with that Death Blossom and that Graviton Surge.
Yisu playing Splinter Cell right now. Wants to hide away. Hotbury looks like he's trying to bait them in, or at least try to. Gets the Hop. Oh, humongous bubble from Hopper. That was so clean. And a big grab too. Hopper is just going crazy. Yeah, that's not going to work. That Sound Barrier is not enough to save Myunbong. Hopper just absolutely destroying. Hisu taking some servant lessons up onto the high ground. Has got the Death Blossom still in his back pocket if he so chooses to use it. Might need to as Twilight ends up falling down. He ends up Wraith walking away, noticing the lack of heals, but they can still contest for a long time. This point is very hard to attack, as there's lots of spaces where you can hide behind if you're in control. Yaki dies from the side as Aldo comes in with the right click and finishes him off. And the Toronto Defiant looking good for this next fight. Excelsior, they're going back to spawn. They're going to go again.
With what? Yaki's going to hit a big Pulse Bomb, but Toronto Defiant should be able to stall this to 99, and Hisu still has the Death Blossom. Hasn't had a chance to use it yet.
Nice anti. Nano, it's on Hisu. He's got the Beyblade. He can't quite get Kellen. Twilight is dead. Also, how did that happen? Flora managed to find a miracle kill. Yaki backing away. He knows the Death Blossom is imminent. Flora falls, and overtime is here. A beautiful sleep onto Hisu as Myunbong finds himself on the wrong side of the map. Hopper finds two in this fight, and the Defiant still maintain control. There's a couple of members from Excelsior still alive and well on the point, but not for long as Hisu teleports to the back line to try and end this right now. They're one fight away from securing their place in the kick-off clash. Twilight back on the Moira. OT ticking down is gonna disappear rather quickly if Excelsior jump off of the point. Flora comes back with a visor, maybe finds something, but it's all on the ults of the Excelsior to keep them in this game. Twilight without a fade, it doesn't end up working out. He ends up going down, and now with a tactical visor and the Nano on top, finishes off Krong. He was trying to shoot someone through a wall. Yeah, we all saw it. And now Excelsior in back. Overtime, ticking away, and somehow the Excelsior keep themselves in this series.
Incredible. We're gonna decide it all for this map on Ruins. Oh, it's such a good series so far, Jaws. New York Excelsior are fighting right now to stay in this match. They don't want to give up, and they don't want their fans to lose hope. Maybe they go 2-4 for this start of the season.
Maybe, just maybe. They still have to win this round. And then the next couple of maps, keep in mind. So it's still an upwards hill battle, but it does start here. Same kind of comps, nothing changing as we go on Ruins.
Ooh, but very different approaches. You can see that Toronto Defiant is trying to go through Dark right now, maybe going down through Main. Want to try to fight around that Mega, but New York Excelsior have beat them there. Oh, no.
Flora super low, wow. Tried to match that rotation, then decided against it. Nice, a lot of damage. Point unlocks. No one wants to go down first. It feels like both teams are playing rather defensive. Excelsior a little bit more so, as that mega health pack and the statue was in firm control of the Toronto Defiant as they capture the point. Hisu Wraith walking away from that engagement. Took a little bit too much from Flora, who's outputting crazy amount of damage right now. But it's all on the Toronto Defiant just defending. They did end up capping, although eventually dies. Followed up by Twilight. Okay, now Excelsior in control, but you want to get out. You got 100 energy.
Oh.
Still doing boatloads of damage there.
New York Excelsior are playing around Hop Azaria with a very high-risk, high-reward strategy. They are attempting to attack the bubbles, just hoping to kind of shoot through them and then just take Hotba out. But in the process, if they don't do that, obviously they're donating over a bunch of charge. So Hotba is still sitting at very, very high energy, walking back in to defend this point.
There's the Nano on the Winston. B comes out though to match. Nano available for the Defiant, and Kellen decides he doesn't want any more of that. Tactical Visor used from Flora. It's no Nano, so it does very little damage. And in fact, look, Hisu's just walking at the back line. Doesn't care about the Visor. He ends up right-clicking himself to death as Hotba was Nanoed and just walked straight into him. Nice team fight win there for the Defiant as they regain control of the point.
53% though for New York Excelsior. They do have the Primal Rage as well as the Sound Barrier. But look at how aggressive Toronto Defiant are getting. Hisu is just waiting so patiently for New York Excelsior to walk in as Hotba's going to hit the Graviton Surge after they clear Kellen off of the rafters.
Another double bubble there onto Hisu to keep him safe. Graviton Surge available. He's hunting for somebody, and he's got three of them. Three-man grab, three-man anti, 2 kills. Can they finish up the third? Myeonbong in trouble as Hisu gets around to it. The Primal Rage from Kellen was good to disrupt the backline of the Defiant, but that Grav is good for now. 55% for the Defiant. One-out wonder that fight.
So Toronto Defiant get to hold on to the Death Blossom and the Tactical Visor. Both of them, they'll have to be used vanilla. Twilight does not have the Nano Boost ready to go. But New York Excelsior expended a lot into that fight for no value. So they've got to hope that Yaki's Pulse Bomb is able to do something big here and that Myeongbong's Nano can keep somebody alive.
Hisu still being rather cheeky in the back line, Rose. You got to be careful. Teleported up to the high ground. Yeah, so he's actually just stopping Flora and the rest of the team from doing anything. You see how scared Flora was to jump down, and Kellen's just left out to dry. It's 95%. The Excelsior need to touch if they want to get back into this series. The Nano Tactical Visor does absolutely nothing as the Defiant rout the Excelsior. 99% turning into 100. The Toronto Defiant are going to stamp their ticket to the kickoff clash. 3-1 against the Excelsior, 4-2 overall.
Woo! Let's go Toronto. Toronto able to punch their ticket, and I think we've got to give all that credit to Hotba there. How many kills did Hotba actually end up getting in that series? Is he still gold damage, John? I feel like he's got to be.
Not quite.
Or
he's close. He's close. Yeah, Hisu actually ended up with the most damage at the very end of that game. But Toronto Defiance, Zarya comps, they look so good. The amount of pocket they put into Hotba is phenomenal. Yeah. And you could tell that by the healing. Chorong getting an unbelievable amount of heals compared to Gamyeon Jin, and for a lot of that series. I mean, their Zarya comps looking rather clean. The only map they did end up losing was unfortunately when they subbed Muse in. And, well, let's have a look at the player of the match. Apparently now one of my favorite players. It's going to be Hopper, who was on the Zarya for the entirety of this one. I mean, who's really surprised? Was leading the team in most maps in damage, and these grabs were insane.
Yeah, I mean, not even that, though. You can see how there was a really nice bubble placement. Ooh, we got some nice tech coming out from these Zaryas as well. I mean, Hoppa, on one of those maps, you remember, it was right here on Well, actually. Just kind of, you know, peppered himself up, did a little bunny hop, and then got such a nice bubble to be able to save his teammate. Yeah, whoo, 44% average energy. That's a lot for Zarya right now.
It does feel a lot too, yeah, because you're not at 100 energy all the time like Zarya of old, who could use a bubble on another tank to gain that energy. You are the solo tank, so you're using it more often than not to save your DPS, like you just mentioned, or save your support when they get dove or when they get antied. Hopper's doing it all right now. This very much does feel like shades of Hopper of old when he was playing on, funnily enough, the Excelsior way back in 2020 when he had some crazy diva bombs. But this time around, he's popping off on the Zarya. Well, there you go. We have got another series coming up next, though. It is the San Francisco Shock against the Vancouver Titans. Ooh. We'll lay down the stakes for you for that one. But if SF Shock do end up getting the first seed, if they do end up winning, they guarantee themselves the first seed in the Kickoff Clash.
They do, and with that comes a nice responsibility of being able to pick their opponent from the 5th through 8th seeds as well. So a lot on the line here for the San Francisco Shock and also for the Vancouver Titans. They don't want to go down without a fight either.
Yeah, they definitely do not. We'll have to wait and see, though. That's going to be the next series. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you in just a moment.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Upper Deck, the official trading card of the Overwatch League. And by TeamSpeak, the official voice supplier of the Overwatch League.
Toronto have stepped up.
Quick little flick to the side. Someone check his mouse. That is ridiculous. You have got to be joking. Oh, that is absurd.
Peel back over towards the car, which is now being brought forward. 40 seconds remaining, although crawls on the Dragon Blade. Again, 2 kills with the dash.
Oh, what? Are you serious? Toronto bringing some serious firepower now.
Welcome to Game Break, everybody. We're here now joined by Chorong from Toronto Defiant. Chorong, congratulations on the win and congratulations on making it into the Kickoff Clash tournament. You guys are going to Dallas. Yeah! 달라스로 가게 되셨습니다. 초롱 선수 축하드립니다.
야, 좋습니다.
That was very low energy, but hey, it's fine. All right, I'm happy that you're happy. 좀 에너지가 좀 낮긴 했는데 뭐 그래도 뭐 좋아하시는 모습을 보니까 저도 좋네요. All right, so Kickoff Clash. You guys are heading to Dallas. What are your realistic? What is Toronto Defiant's realistic goals in this tournament? 첫 번째 질문은 이번에 Kickoff Clash 토너먼트 들어가시게 되셨는데 좀 현실적인 토론토 팀의 목표가 있다면 이번 토너먼트에서 무엇이 있을까요?
토론토 팀의 목표. 일단은 우승은 기본으로 깔리겠지만은 이제 저희 팀원들끼리 이제 시너지가 이제 아우러져서 이제 시너지가 이제 좀 뽐내져야 이제 저희가 경기력이 좀 멋있게 나오지 않을까. 전 그걸 목표로 하고 있습니다. 시너지가 좀 맞게.
All right. So, I mean, of course, I think the obvious answer is to try our best to win it all. And not only that, we want to really make our synergy work, our teamwork to really shine. That way, we could put out the best performance and probably best clips for all of the Toronto fans that everyone could be proud of. So we really want to work on our teamwork and synergy in the tournament and also to win it all as well. All right, and also talking about the Kickoff Clash tournament. So in this qualifier matches these past 4 weeks, you guys only had 2 losses, and one of them was to Dallas, and that was the only match you guys got 3-0'd. So I'm guessing that there is a chance that you guys will meet Dallas again in the Kickoff Clash tournament when that happens. how bad do you want to get that revenge on them? Because they're the only team that, 3-0'd you guys. 자, 두 번째 질문도 이번에 토너먼트에 대한 질문인데요. 이번에 토너먼트 들어가기 전에 지금 정규 시즌에서 지금 경기들 중에서 달라스 팀만 이제 토론토 팀을 3대0으로 이긴 팀인데 이번에 토너먼트를 또 어떻게 보면 달라스에 가서 달라스 팀과 또 만나게 될 텐데 이 달라스 팀을 얼마나 이기고 싶은가요?
일단은 이제 리그 시작 전에 이제 파워랭킹 떴을 때 댈러스가 제일 높았잖아요. 이제 저는 약간 그걸 좀 부수고 싶었다. 그 부수고 싶은 마음밖에 없었는데 댈러스전에서 이제 그때 3대0으로 이제 별로 뭔가 뽐낼 게 없었다 싶어서 이제 이번 토너먼트 가서는 이제 좀 부숴줘야 되지 않겠나 싶어서 이제 마음을 좀 다지고 있습니다.
Right, so I mean, even before the league started, I was watching a lot of power rankings, and they were oftentimes Dallas Fuel were number 1 ranked in a lot of power rankings. So watching all of that, I really wanted to break them. That was all in my mind coming into the Overwatch League, but unfortunately against the Dallas Fuel team, we got 3-0'd. And I think going into the tournament, the Kickoff Clash tournament, I think it is the right time for me to actually break them apart, to show them that this is what I really want to do. All right, Chorong, that is it for the interview. Thank you so much for your time. And again, I guess I'll see you in Dallas. 자, 초롱 선수 이걸로 인터뷰를 마치겠고요. 달라스에서 뵙도록 하겠습니다.
감사합니다. 바이바이.
바이바이.
Wow, aggressive.
Break
them.
Yep.
Not defeat them, not beat them.
That was a literal translation. I was
just
thinking about it.
break him like a stick.
Yeah, it's like break. 부시다. Korean word of the
Dallas
day.
Fuel
everybody.
over the knee.
부시다. Break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nailed it. Well, now I learned something as well. The day gets better and better. What can I say? But yeah, I love that energy, right? We usually try so hard to steer drama, and he just delivered on a big scale. So we are appreciative of that. Now we are also, of course, appreciative once again to have Jonathan Reinforth Larson joining us to break down all the action. Thoughts, feelings, ideas about what we just got to witness?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big Chorong fan now, pulling off his best Ivan Drago impression in our interviews. We'll have to see that. That's always good for the drama. So thank you for that. Well, I mean, it's nice to see that Toronto Defiant, they make the Sara composition work. It was pretty messy series, so to speak. I think I wanted to see Toronto Defiant come out, be a bit more dominant, but instead New York Excelsior, they put up a good fight here on Colosseo, and they got more final blows. New York Excelsior would have arguably won this map, but again, it comes down to the compositions for me with the Zarya. Here on Gibraltar, didn't really agree with Toronto Defiant's pick here to prefer the Genji over the Soldier. When you're doing that, you're essentially betting on you diving more aggressively and being able to get some dash picks, etc., or your Tracer popping off. But they made it easy for New York Excelsior. Playing the Soldier with Diana Brig, you're happy to just control the high ground and have Yaki play the Tracer, right? And they got value of that, New York Excelsior. So, considering that it's New York Excelsior's last game, I guess we'll just end it on that note as well. I think they have a pretty good roster here, and but they're pretty limited by Kellan being their only tank and being restricted to play these Winston compositions mostly. And Gangnam Jin, we've mentioned it several times, he's not quite there with Elusio just yet. So hopefully a meta shift for them. But back to Toronto Defiant, now of course contending for